On the last episode of Dice Funk.
I founded the Black Hearts to find a way to reconcile our feelings and to end sacrifice among our people. I had the idea to bolster our forces by stealing Modron from the Temple of Primus, and it succeeded, but the cost was very high. I intend for us to get this ship airborne, take the fight to the Black Hearts, and kill my family.
I multiclassed into wizard.
But you do remind me very much of my mentor, Welch the Blue. She is a witch of just incredible power, and she taught all of us magic. Yes, I'm from a small town, underground in the Underdark. Actually, not far from Calypsia, where Joan is from.
Doing Find Familiar to get Joe back. Remember that thing that almost ate you when you were had that chain around you?
But it occurs to you now, it would be a lot easier to keep everyone from leaving if it was only one monster who stretched from one end of Lorelei to the other.
Let's go to the police first.
You see Kenku, you see gnomes, you see orcs, you actually see drow, bullywugs, and even Kuatoa. The Kuatoa they're all mumbling to themselves.
Oh, jeez.
Kind of actually the same noises, maybe even. A poster which says wanted for murder and piracy, and then pictures of your entire group.
I think maybe he would try to signal to Zavala.
You see Sherry, the moss heart, twitching and pulsing on her shoulder like some macabre parrot. What they did was use Joan's fortune as an aristocrat in her society to purchase prisoners and to sacrifice them to Lolth. That the Temple of Primus is not just a church to a one god, but actually a repository of powerful magical and religious artifacts.
Do you have any idea what that thing in the water is? It really likes blood.
Are you in? Are you going to rob the biggest church in Lorelei and steal their most powerful artifact in the region?
If I have to.
How do I sound?
Sound good.
Small.
Oh.
Crystal
well,
clear.
That's true.
Lauren, are you real small? Because I've only seen like pictures of you, but never in person, so I don't know how tall I am compared to you.
I'm 5'4".
Aww.
And I have like tiny hands.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So I was recording trash sounds today, which was fun.
AKA my voice.
Was this you going around to dumpsters and just like recording any natural noise, or were you like interfering with the dumpsters?
Did you provoke them?
Okay, so I was recording an assault on a dumpster in which, they were being mildly smacked with things in order to elicit sounds,
Whoa,
Whoa.
hold on. Were you filming
Whoa.
Stomp?
Oh, jeez.
Were you filming Bring the Funk, Bring the Noise?
If I had any sense of taste, I would have thrown up in my mouth twice at that statement.
Dang. Whoa. Controversial.
Whoa, I loved Stomp when I was in elementary school. I'm personally offended.
Here we go.
I like that line. Like I love that thing when I was in elementary school.
I'm a trash baby.
Wow.
We were talking before we started recording about maybe doing a holiday special. It would never fit in, but it was a possibility. And the only outcome of that is the gang sings Christmas. Like nothing else fits.
Yeah.
Well, it could be worse. We could do like the obligatory Maid Cafe episode, which is not going to happen.
Oh God, please.
Are we just going to turn this into Orin Host Club?
Yes.
I'm still waiting for the clip show.
We could also go ahead and just call the Zazamanga Drop Yo and just go on with that line.
I quit.
We did it, guys. I told you we could.
It took, 60 hours? How much of this show have we made? Too much is the answer. Christ on a cracker, where do we start? Sorry about the show, everyone. The actual narrative starts now. Drop is on the Zavala in a cabin below deck. He has his shirt off. Sherry comes into the room. Saxophone.
Because why not?
There's no way I can do this. No, she really does come in the room, and she has like a bandolier of syringes and various vials and whatnot, and begins applying ointment to his reopened chest wound. We have established was very minorly re-injured when he slapped into the water. It's not a big deal.
Is this unguent that she's applying? Of what kind of texture would you describe it? Is it like slippery? Is it kind of oily maybe?
Before I started this, I was like, Johnny wants to say unguent. I can feel it.
I would like to believe that it's chunky somehow, but you can tell us.
I thought it was creamy, but now that you said chunky, like I can't get it out of my head that it's chunky. So I guess it's.
It can be creamy and chunky. Haven't you ever opened up ricotta cheese that's kind of gone off?
It's separated.
Oh.
Yeah, like sour cream.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
All I know is last season I got put on the spot to invent a bunch of hermit root names. So stick with me here. Johnny wants a little flavor text.
Did we all do that?
Hold on, let me get Sherry's voice real quick. Hey, y'all.
This is happening.
Yeah, no. She just applies some fucking ointment.
I thought we confirmed that it was chunky peanut butter.
Why are you like this? Holy shit, we're 6 minutes in and all that's happened is a dog has rubbed oil on you. It's that. There's a gas leak in my room, apparently. Christ almighty. Someone else want to DM this one? I'm feeling frisky.
Oh my god, I'm like literally dying.
You know what it is? It's that fucking Alolan Persian that got revealed today. That they just stapled a blue Garfield head onto an existing Pokemon and said it's a new Pokemon.
All right, come on, stick with me, Austin. Stick with me here. The anthropomorphized dog is rubbing spoiled ricotta cheese on me.
Yeah.
Like maybe suspended in like a kind of yogurt.
Oh god. She tells you that you'll be fine, you big baby. Suck it up. Like this will keep it from getting infected, but it like barely bled. Come on.
That's really all I wanted. If I was gonna drop in the ocean again, then this would be a problem.
As you say that, from behind her, the door she came in, it cracks open, and at first you're like, that was weird, and then you actually see scuttling across the floor is the moss heart, which walks across the floor over to a cabinet and just opens that and starts rearranging bottles in there with its little stick hands.
Okay, I'm gonna motion at the moss heart and ask Dr. Sherry, listen, is that sentient? Like, does it have, I don't know, memory?
That's me. That's mine.
Oh, you know it tried to stab me, right?
Well, we left it in the forest to guard that portal. You shouldn't have been fussing with the portal, son.
I'll keep that in mind next time.
You're so silly.
That's what people keep telling me.
So she gives you some bandages or whatever.
I want to ask Sherry a moment while she's giving me bandages before we move on with the plot.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, Doctor, I don't suppose you have any particular academic knowledge about any kind of brain problems?
Brain problems? Are you stupid?
No. If someone were to see things or hear things that weren't there, would you have any kind of professional opinion on that?
Sounds like you're bedeviled.
Yeah, okay, all right, maybe. What if I were?
It sounds more like you want a priest than a doctor. I can help if you hit your head, if you got some stupid brain.
Would you happen to know, I mean, most assuredly, we are heading to Mykonos right now. There'd be priests at the temple, wouldn't there?
All the priests in the Temple of Primus are Modron, and they ain't much for talking or praying. They just kind of walk around. They're very simple creatures.
I'm sure there's another temple in the city. Mykonos, I hear, is relatively large.
They have a whole temple district.
Oh, I'll have to see that if I get any spare time. Thank you, Doctor.
The Moss Heart brings Sherry a towel, and she wipes her hands off.
Aw.
And that's weird. That's a totally weird thing that you just witnessed.
I'm gonna, wave at the Moss Heart. Kind of just, really, not like, oh, hey, buddy, it's great to see you again, but sort of like, are we cool?
It doesn't have the capability of hissing, but if it did, its body language suggests that it would hiss at you, and it scuttles back over to Sherry, climbs up her, and perches on her shoulder.
All right, thumbs up.
After that charming interaction, Lita enters the room with some blueprints, some floor plans for the Temple of Primus, which you have tentatively agreed to consider robbing for the greater good.
Infiltrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
For the audience, the Temple of Primus is kind of set out like a big cross. Think of it as like intersecting lines. I'm going to show the group in the Roll20.
Even though this is for my eyes only.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of the group knows, but they can't act on it immediately.
Yeah, that's a cross.
Yeah. There are 4 main wings, each one dedicated to the art and history of one of the main races of Lorelei. The North Wing is the Drow. The East Wing is the Kenku. The South Wing is the Orcs. And the West Wing is the Gnomes. And she tells you that where they meet in the middle is the repository where all the very powerful and valuable artifacts are kept. If you have any other particular questions, she can try to answer them for you, but that's the basic layout. It's a pretty simple building.
Well, first of all, are the only ways in, presumably, are there entrances in each one of the wings?
Yep, there's an entrance and exit in each of the wings. It's, like she said at the end of the last episode, it's not just a church. It is just like a monument to order and law. That's why it's symmetrical. That's why it is like almost species agnostic, because
Right.
Modron don't need to worship. They're just like perfect beings of programming. So it's an inviting to other species so that they might accept Primus's teachings of ultimate law and order.
So, do we know who's responsible for creating the Modron?
Primus.
Like,
Primus is the name of the deity, and all Modron are actually just, they're like cells of him, essentially.
okay. All right, I see. It's a hive mechanism.
He's basically just like the perfect program. It's not quite a hive mind so much as they're all just programmed to be perfect.
Are you trying to get all D&D steampunk up in here?
These are literally all canon. I have invented none of this.
Really? I didn't know Primus was canon.
Yep.
It just seems like a name that you might add to this campaign.
I'm gonna be honest, that did occur to me. But no, Primus, everything so far, except for the Moss Heart, is D&D.
Okay. All right. How many floors is the temple?
Just the one. It's a pretty tall building,
But
it only needs the one because it's got a pretty sparse selection of art. It's got like paintings and sculptures, and it has historical documents and stuff of each of the main races. And that's kind of it, because they don't require like pews or, altars or anything.
Right. And probably not any other way in, like from the roof or underground, say.
She says she never tried underground, but they broke in through the roof when they did it, and she hears that they have since reinforced that. So it's not off the table, but it's probably going to be harder than it was 10 years ago when she did it.
Would underground be an option? I mean, what's the sewage system in Mykonos like? And for that matter, would the flooding interfere with that?
That is an amazing question. She does not have the most up-to-date information for you, but she tells you that the sewage system in Mykonos is that it's a city of canals, so everyone basically is just, they're all nasty boys.
They're all nasty boys? What does that mean?
Like the WWF
I'm looking for like
tag team?
architectural and like city planning here, and you're like, yes, they're all nasty boys.
You know how in medieval times people just threw their junk out the window into the street?
Oh yeah. So you mean it's a dirty ass street?
Well, except they're canals.
Okay, so it's a dirty ass river.
Yeah.
All right.
There isn't like underground sewers the way we think of them in like fantasy or like JRPG terms.
Right.
But she like literally hasn't checked under the temple, so she has no idea if there is anything under there. It's a possibility.
Okay, maybe I'll just scope the area once we get there and see if there's anything that jumps out at me.
Leon just put something without context that appears to relate to wrestling. Are those nasty
It
boys?
looks like they're nasty boys.
Those are the nasty boys.
I didn't know that was a real thing.
Yes, they're very clear about who they are.
Oh, it's a very tiny picture. This episode is just like, woo! There's been so much tragedy over the last couple episodes. It's okay to have a funny one.
Yeah.
But you've gotten, the plans to the Temple of Primus. You've got medical treatment.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some questions about the Moss Heart answered. Is there anything else you want before we switch scenes? Because they seem to be pretty open and receptive and cooperative.
I just want to ask about like the crowds of the temple, like what times of day it seems to be most packed. You know, like are they open 24 hours a day or are they closed at night?
They are closed at night. They keep very precise hours.
Right.
It's kind of their whole thing. They actually don't get much foot traffic because it's not a crazy exciting place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And also you don't get anything for worshiping Primus. Right. Primus wants you to fulfill your societal role, your function, and do what you're supposed to, and that's it. It's not like one of the cool religions where you like go to church on Sunday and then you get stuff.
Right. He's not like follow your dreams, yo. He's all like go pick up that poop because you're supposed to.
Everyone has a place, everyone has a purpose. Do your purpose, and everything will be cool. Yeah, I don't know. We haven't really gotten deep into anyone's doctrines, but Primus is one of those guys who's like so simple because he's just a programmed man and he wants everyone to be that. So
that sounds like a really high concept Yes album, The Programmed Man.
Oh my god.
All right, well then I'm going to take the opportunity. I think I've asked just about all I need to ask about this, so I'm going to take the opportunity. How long until we get there? Boo boo.
What was that noise?
That was just like a little drum fill at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, since you don't have to go against the water, you're actually going to beat the Violet One there. The problem is that seeing an airship over the city will immediately rouse the entire thing into a defensive and probably aggressive posture. So they're going to circle around, drop you off outside, and then you can walk in, as opposed to the Violet One, which just pulled up and jumped out.
All right.
So you probably you're going to get there first, but then you're going to have to do a bunch of extra stuff. So it's probably going to be about even.
Okay. Then I think I'm going to take the remaining time we have to meditate. I guess I should ask if they have anything like. I suppose I should ask them, like, do you have any supplies that you might be able to furnish me?
Yeah, sure. We got medical, we got food. What do you need?
I'm okay for, I guess, medical and food, and I still have my explorer's pack on me.
I got a nice chewing bone. It's a little nibbled on this side, but you can have the rest of it. I can break half. You want half?
That's awfully kind of you, but I think I'll be okay. What about some manner of concealment?
You want us to make you invisible? Amber was the sorcerer. I fix people, Lita fixes things, and Fox punches. So, I'm afraid you're going to have to look elsewhere for the magic.
A cloak or disguise or something, then, maybe? I was just going to say that it probably wouldn't fit me, because I imagine that Sherry and I have differing physiques.
Yeah, she's very dog.
Yeah, so that really didn't seem like much of an option.
Or hyena, I guess. I mean, everyone on this ship is totally different shaped than you.
All right, then I guess I'll spend the rest of our time approaching the city, meditating, and gaining back my key.
Yeah, and also you'll be getting perception and insight advantage for the rest of the day because I assume you're going to meditate with your
with Deep Blue,
the quarterstaff,
which sounds weirdly enough like another high concept Yes album.
Yeah. All right, so Drop does that in preparation to arrive in Mykonos, where you guys already are. You're in the police station. You've just walked in. You see that the reception desk is deserted, which is weird. This is the kind of thing that is usually manned 24 hours. There's a wanted poster with all your faces on it. What do you guys do?
I'm just gonna crouch behind the desk.
So you walk around the desk and then crouch behind it.
No, from the side I'm already on.
Alias just sort of rubs his head a bit and lets out a long sigh. It's like, well, at least those drawings don't really look like us.
Get down so they can't see you.
The person we're supposed to meet is in here. Supposedly.
Wait, who are we meeting?
True.
I'm saying very, very, very quiet so no one else can hear me talk.
Okay, the audience still needs to hear you, Leon.
Well, Alias just sort of turns and sort of just says out loud, Detective Carter?
You don't receive any response.
Is no one here? I'm trying to speak up, but like Violet is whispering so that no one around will be able to know she's
Yeah,
here.
it's called a stage whisper.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
Hey, you could stage whisper fairly loud.
I
and
know,
still
I know.
get the point across.
Oh gosh. Is this the Dunk on Leon episode?
The area looks pretty beaten, like strewn about and trying to think, disarray, correct?
I would say investigation.
All right.
Anybody who wants to investigate.
That is a specialty of mine.
It is not one of mine.
He's gonna crawl out from behind the desk.
A 25 on the investigation.
Okay, no one else needs to roll.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop typing.
Elias is like, out of the way, losers. I'm about to investigate this shit.
Never mind.
Detective Elias is on the case here, motherfucker.
He just goes into Sherlock vision.
Okay.
I'm trying to even justify a 25. Like, it's so good that I have to make up new stuff for you to find. Because just giving you what you would normally find isn't sufficient for that roll.
You invent the concept of fingerprints.
So you guys start walking around, led by Elias and his sharp eyes, and you find, nobody appears to be in this part of this police station. So one thing at a time. You guys walk through the reception area, back to the part where the police and detectives congregate, like desks for paperwork and such, and there's just nobody there. Elias is very careful in his investigation, so he's not loud or anything, but he does find a couple of things very worth noting. One is that all of the detective desks have like little nameplates, and the one that says Detective Carter on it is covered in flowers. I'm trying to characterize this without giving it away. You know how like people put flowers on graves? Oops, I gave it.
Yes,
I gave it away.
Yeah, no,
I got it.
Yeah. Elias just sort of takes a moment, pauses, looks at the flowers, and like, think we need to look here a bit further before he approaches, not really cautiously. I mean, it's not like there's going to be a jump scare here or anything like that. It's not.
Be great.
We're not at the spook station. This is supposed to be like the police station, you know?
Right.
So Elias approaches the desk, kind of circles around it, and just sort of sees if there are any drawers that can be open on and such.
Yeah, with your 25 to investigate the police station, you're going to get like everything basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's clear from the state of the desk that you guys have arrived too late, and Detective Carter is no longer on this plane anymore, which I think is probably a good time to reveal something about this campaign in general, which is that of the 4 areas you had to explore, it may seem as though they're all just kind of static missions waiting for you to pick them from a menu.
Yeah.
But actually, all of them are and were in motion. So, for example, you guys showed up, the first place you went to, for example, was the Ragged Woods. You showed up right as the plants were starting to attack. Like only 1 or 2 people died. You nipped that in the bud. If you had gone there a second or third, maybe the whole woods would have been full and people would have been like cowering in fortified buildings. And if you had gone there last, maybe the town would have been overrun and Vinny's family would be dead or dying.
Okay.
So
Oh no.
that's a thing to think about. Tiger Mountains, you guys went there second, so the orcs had abandoned the base for a camp. If you had gone there first, maybe you would have got there in time to see the Guy Tusk power struggle and taken part in that. And if you had gone there last, maybe Guy would have started sending orcs back to check on the base, and they would have been getting slaughtered by the Spectator, and that would have been a whole different situation. Which leads us to Mykonos. Detective Carter was a character with wants and dreams and a family.
And you brutally murdered him.
We're past the halfway point. So the consequences for all the choices from the first half are now starting to come home to roost. And there's a bunch more. I'm just making you aware of. I'm not picking on you. This is the way this whole thing is designed. And if anyone listening wants to run Lorelei or something, those are things to keep in mind. Which, of course, brings us to the fact that I think you guys left the Cascades to last because it seemed the most dangerous. That's a choice. That's a choice you made.
Yeah, it is. Okay, Violet says, okay, there's no one here, so I guess I can talk like normal.
Just closes her snout gently.
Well, I mean, Elias wasn't done investigating. I assume he just pushes past you to keep investigating.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, he's in full-on Sherlock mode. And dominating this detective room is a giant board. I'm going to say there's red string, because of course there is, all over this board. And it appears that prior to abandoning this place, they were all working on a big case. And you see all these victims connected by this string on this board, all, of course, tasteful charcoal drawings, because photographs don't exist. of a bunch of people who have been murdered. And as Elias pours over this stuff with his 25, he's able to piece it all together. Everyone who's been murdered was a very important or influential or rich or connected person. Gender doesn't seem to be a factor. Race doesn't seem to be a factor. Like every race, every gender is getting killed. Also, it seems to be there's been one murder every day for months. And of course, you guys left this for third, so bodies have been piling up. And at some point, the detectives literally just quit. Partially because they just weren't making any headway, and partially because the first people to get murdered were the council of Mykonos, who paid the police salary. And so now they're gone.
Oops.
So everyone just left. And as far as these murders go, the thing that connects them all, besides the victims, is that all of them appear to have been killed by a single dagger strike with a poison blade, although they all died from the stab and not the poison.
Okay.
So there's an alternate version of this campaign where you guys showed up in time and were not wanted murderers, and you took part in a cool like serial killer chase. That's not this one, but you've definitely found the remnants of another quest.
Okay.
So you're saying there may in fact be some sort of, I don't know, some sort of parallel universe shenanigans here. Got it.
Yeah.
Violet's last reward. That's what this is going to be.
That's a super deep cut for all my visual novel fans out there. But if you have any questions about what Elias has found, now's the time, because it's all laid out in front of you, and he is picking up on it at this moment.
Elias, explain what you're looking at, because I don't get it. I just see string, and then Violet takes the string around her horn.
No. He pushes Violet. Oh, no, you're not. No. This is important, or at least
red.
It was important.
If it's not important anymore, I feel like I should be able to take the string.
You have no way of knowing that it's not important anymore, Violet. You don't even understand it.
You were using the past tense, so...
I don't know if it's not important anymore, but you certainly don't, Violet.
Violet's a real stickler for grammar.
Violet, don't ruin the paper mache or you'll get murdered.
That's fair. Okay, I'm gonna find something else to put around my horn then, and Violet sort of like walks away.
So that's the bulk of the police station investigated. There's still like holding cells and an evidence place.
An evidence place.
It's not like a modern evidence locker that's very well guarded. They kind of just throw shit in there.
A big old cardboard box that says lost and found on it.
It's the drugs and swords room.
Okay. Violet looks for drugs. No. She doesn't do much.
I'm waiting on you guys. You're standing in the middle of this, it's like what is it called? I almost said ball pit. That's not right.
Bullpen.
Do you mean bullpen?
Yeah.
No, it's a ball pit.
Wait, Austin, can it be a ball pit?
Yeah.
I would like to roll for it to be a ball pit. I don't know what I roll.
If you crit, just roll a raw d20. If you crit, it's a ball pit.
Damn, I only got a 3.
2. It is so not a ball pit.
No. Balls have never been here.
Alright, fine. Okay, fine. Violet doesn't understand what's going on, so she has nothing to add at this time.
Are there like interrogation rooms?
This is kind of medieval, so they just interrogate people in cells. And this isn't a prison, it's a police department, so there's like drunk tanks in a couple cells.
Are there closed doors?
Yeah, to the evidence room and to the cells.
Violet goes into the evidence room.
Well, I will say this, Vinny. We might have struck at least a small bit of good fortune through all this.
What's that?
Given that there is no police force and no one to pay anyone any rewards, it would seem that the bounty that's on our heads would be worthless to enforce at this time, unless, I don't know, someone was just out to kill people randomly for chuckles, I suppose.
Glitter Gold put out the bounty.
Yeah, no, Glitter Gold put out the bounty. And they're still around.
Yeah, it's an extrajudicial matter.
It's become privately sourced.
Yeah.
What is in the evidence room? Because Violet has totally gone.
Violet, you push that door open with your big old snooter, and in there you see a bunch of boxes, like on the wall, like metal boxes. Lockers, that's the word.
Yeah.
And they appear to be locked because they're lockers, and that is their nature.
Okay, Violet tries to break them all open.
All right, strength?
I mean, in theory.
Strength? Yeah, I've got that.
That's the thing I do!
12, which is not great. I mean, it's better than average, but I don't know.
You run in and you just start headbutting lockers like a maniac.
Are balls gonna come pouring out of the locker everywhere?
Tribbles.
Yeah.
200,000 pounds of tribbles. You hear a crunch noise above your head,
Mhm.
which isn't super good, but you do manage to get one of them open, and there is 50 gold pieces, a bag of some strange powder,
Oh God.
and half a sword.
Guys, I found... And then Violet looks around and says, I found powder and a sword.
How many pockets, you goofy fuck?
I'm just playing. No, she explains what's in there. She doesn't even understand the concept of money that well. She explains what's in there and then says, I don't know what to do with it. And then she's done.
Powder and a sword.
There's powder and a sword and, I want to say coins.
If you guys are having this conversation, I assume one of you went to the other. And Alias, you see that the crack in Violet's horn is a little worse.
Well, it was paper mache.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely wrecked it all up.
God damn it,
And there's a hole in it now.
Violet. What did I tell you?
What?
What was the one thing I asked?
I genuinely do not remember.
I said not to mess up your horn disguise.
Oh, right. Yeah. I kind of use it for everything, though.
Oh, and all you have is a horn. Everything looks like a person to stab.
Yeah.
Well,
Can I fix it? What do I roll to fix it?
Elias has mending.
yeah, I was just like,
okay.
Elias just sort of like rubs his head a bit, asks Violet to stay still for 1 minute. No, still 1 minute.
Fine.
And he casts mending to repair the fake horn, but he can't fix the real horn, but he can fix the fake horn.
Correctamundo.
Would cure wounds work on the horn?
No, it appears to be magical and not biological in nature, this wound. But Violet made a heck of a racket smashing into lockers.
That's what she does.
And you guys are like hyper aware of that as you start hearing sounds outside the police station. Just kind of like a general ruckus. You came here like under cover of night, so it's early morning, which is a weird time for a ruckus.
Oh shit. We caused a ruckus.
Okay. Before we leave, Elias checks the evidence room that Violet was in and quickly just appraises the sword to see if there's anything that seems odd about it, special about it, or heck, if it even possibly has some latent magic in it.
Are you rolling for that?
Yeah, I'll be rolling for Arcana. 14 on the check there.
Nah. It seems like a broken sword that they confiscated in like some kind of
Mm-hmm.
drug bust or something.
Can I investigate the powder?
Yeah.
Rolled an 18.
Let me think of a cool medieval drug name.
Violet eats the powder.
No, I was gonna hide it in my bag.
No, Violet eats the powder.
Violet eats the powder.
No, Violet, those are my drugs.
Oh, Austin,
Yeah.
call it night dust.
That's a good name. I was thinking of like the devil sugar.
Do I have to roll something to survive the devil sugar or what?
Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
My dude.
Okay. Oh, I get +4 for
jeez.
Constitution.
Oh my god, it's a unicorn cocaine orgy.
Great band name.
12.
So here's the thing. You have a poison immunity, so you're like,
Yeah.
this will do literally nothing.
Yeah.
But you feel weird.
Hey.
You feel pretty weird.
You have a driving urge to listen to fish.
From the sound of the other room, you hear Dark Side of the Moon and the Wizard of Oz syncing up. You're like, damn, that sounds tight. Let me check that out. I think you do start having audio hallucinations. You start hearing like noises.
Okay. Violet says, frogs!
Okay, I guess they're frog noises now.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you take too many drugs at one time, Violet.
There's never too many... Does no one else hear frogs?
Violet, where are the frogs coming from?
I want to say they're coming from inside the unicorn.
They're coming from inside of her.
The call is coming from inside the horn. I would like to think that at this point, Violet does not handle this particularly well and just starts thrashing around and runs very quickly out of the police station. Like, she just bolts out.
Fuck.
Constitution saving throw to keep your wits about you enough to do this correctly.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of desks you have to run by.
That's true.
I thought this was supposed to be the Sleepy Boy episode. What's going on here?
We all just did a bunch of whippets.
13. That's good.
Yeah, you knock over a desk on your way out.
Okay.
Which actually, yeah, you knocking over an entire desk, it doesn't stop you because you're in a drug rage.
Sure.
It's a new kind of barbarian feat you just earned. It's called a drug rage. And that desk goes flying and smashes into the wall, which in addition to your locker smashing, it's just been, you've made so much ruckus in here.
Yeah.
And the rest of the party, as they watch you go, hears a muffled voice from behind the door that goes to the cells. The only other door no one checked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're about to, but then she ate all the drugs.
What is the muffled voice?
Oh, okay. Minnie's gonna open it.
Well, the door or open, like, is there like a slide we can open to see through it without opening the door itself? Like a little an eye hole thing?
Wait, I thought it was like a door to a room with cells in it, not like just a cell.
That's a good question. I think it's just a normal-ass door, because the doors on the other side are the ones with the locks and slots and stuff.
I was just making sure.
Yeah, no, I'm being a jerk.
Violet is outside just sort of running in circles, singing, we built this city by a starship.
Hey, so I'm really proud of all of you for, like, triple splitting this party. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Johnny, we'll never hear your voice again.
I know.
Violet, you run out into the street and you see what appears to be the source of the ruckus, which is a small but slowly gaining steam mob that is harassing a couple of Kuatoa on a corner.
Okay.
Back in the police station, Alias, you open the door.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you open the door and you see there's a hallway, and down on each side of the hallway there's a bunch of cells. Pretty simple, pretty stock standard drunk tanks. And from the farthest one, you hear the voice again, not so muffled because it's not on the other side of the thick door. And you hear a voice say, "Stop all that criming."
No, you stop the criming.
Elias just sort of walks towards the voice and says to Vinny, Do you want to check on Violet, or should I check on Violet?
You talk to this crimey guy. I know how to handle her.
No, you are the crime.
You are the crime!
Elias walks to the door where the voice is coming from and looks through it to see who might be there.
Inside the cell, which is locked, you see suspended from a chain that is attached to the ceiling, a cube. You've seen so far Modrons that are spheres.
Mm-hmm.
They're just perfect little balls, and they have little legs, little arms, and one eye, no mouth. This guy is very similar in that he is a metal man with little arms, little legs, but instead of a sphere, he is a cube. And instead of one eye, he has two eyes and a mouth. He is also beat all to shit. It looks like he has been smashed, bolted back together, smashed, taped back together, smashed, and then stapled back together. And whatever chain is hanging up from the ceiling is also attached to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been used to like ensnare his limbs and leave him dangling upside down from the top of this cell. But he says again, "No crimes. This is a crime-free zone."
Oh.
Elias, fix that boy. I'm gonna go find Violet.
Oh.
And then Vinny runs away.
Elias sort of checks the cell.
It is locked. Identify yourself, crime boy.
I have not. I've yet to commit a crime, as far as you know.
Sorry, that's just real confidence inspiring. I have not committed any crimes that you can prove.
If you want, I can help you out of your predicament there, but I'll need assurance that you won't arrest me as soon as you have access to your own limbs.
If you have not committed any crimes, then you have nothing to fear from me. Security unit. Designation. Swift Justice.
Well, Mr. Justice, I believe I might be able to help you out of this situation. Do you know where the keys are for the cells?
The keys are kept with the chief officer on duty.
Right. Just one moment, then. And Elias then proceeds to take out his thieves' tools and get to work on cracking open the cell to help Mr. Justice.
Is that crime?
No, I'm helping you.
Okay, out in the street, Lavinia, you've exited the police station and you see Violet, I guess, running around in circles.
Yes, but once she notices the mob, just to double check, Kuatoa are the fish monsters, right?
Kuatoa are fish people. They're people who are also fish. That's like their whole thing in a nutshell.
You said there are two of them and a big mob is after them?
Yeah, they're sitting on the ground. They are doing their thing, which is like holding out buckets for food or money and muttering and mumbling in whatever their language is. And kind of like just the same phrase. You don't know what it means, but they just keep saying it. And the people around them are just like, stop saying that. What are you doing? Leave our city. Go back to where you came from.
Is it in fish language?
Violet has a problem with this, and she like sort of like marches towards the crowd and says, "Get away from those trout."
Intimidation?
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
Oh,
12.
A couple of the people who seemed less committed to the mob like look at each other and were like, it's not worth it. I'll see you guys later. And they leave, but you don't get rid of all of them. You hear one of them, a gnome, say to another one, "Hey, isn't Glitter Gold looking for a talking horse?"
Oh shit! Vinny's gonna run up to Violet and say, "She's not a talking horse. I'm a horse ventriloquist."
Deception.
I'm gonna roll deception.
Yeah.
This is brilliant.
And I rolled a 21.
Oh, so good!
Oh my god, this is brilliant. I'm enjoying myself here.
She rolled a 21. Let's acknowledge that was a hell of a roll.
Yeah, one of the gnomes starts clapping, and a couple other ones join in, and they mutter, and most of them walk off. One stops, turns back, and tosses Vinny a gold piece.
Thank you. I am very proud of my craft.
When they leave, Violet yells at them and says, "Yeah, better get out of here. You are the crime." And that's it.
See, I'm so good at it.
I didn't address this last episode, but the cloak that Vinny's using to hide her hair is actually the old wizard costume, or I guess outfit that Ziggy used to wear before he switched to the naval uniform. So just if you want that image. Also, you did get some spells at your level up we didn't talk about. Did you want to read those?
Are any of them horse ventriloquy?
No. Yeah, I took message as a cantrip and shatter.
So message just means you can talk silently to someone who's within a certain distance of you, and shatter is that grenade-esque spell that Ziggy used to save Violet in the prequel episode. So it's a pretty devastating spell. The Kuatoa, recognizing that you've saved them from a mob, look at you while they mumble whatever they're mumbling.
Violet says, "Trout, do you hear the frogs? You're also, like, enjoy water."
Oh god, I forgot Violet was on drugs.
How can you forget that?
There's a lot going on.
Okay. Do they respond to this?
They just keep okay. Over and over and over.
Okay.
Violet, come with me.
Okay. If you can show me where the frogs are.
The frogs are they're not real frogs, but if you come with me,
so they're toads.
I'll pet your snout. Yeah, exactly. Come on, just come back, and I'm just gonna walk her.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold on to her mane and walk her back into the.
She does that.
Police station.
All right, Skitch, do you want to roll for that lockpick?
I sure can.
Your newly fixed and suddenly relevant lockpick.
Oh, good foresight on my part to actually have that thing ready to go. So let's see here. 16.
Yep. After a couple moments, you pop it, and the cell is open, and before you is a cube Modron hanging from the ceiling by a chain.
Alias sort of steps in, and Job kind of flies up to perch itself on Mr. Justice. And Alias asks, "Are you in working order, sir?"
"I am operational."
"Okay.
"Are you operational?"
"Nominally, yes." Alias then just sort of checks to see how the chains are secured to the ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a minute, but you can get all that stuff undone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be a big deal.
Right. It's just time and
yeah,
such. And here or there, I guess in the time I'm analyzing the area around, I'm probably going to be using mending here and there to fix some of the more mundane cracks or imperfections on Swift Justice's chassis, as it were.
Mm-hmm. All right, so everyone's going to, I assume, gather at the cell. Let's cut over to Drop real quick.
That's me.
Can I just cast Comprehend Languages as a ritual while he's fixing the dude, so that by the time we come back, it'll be working?
Yep.
Cool. Well, I do that.
So I guess Alias and Violet are going to have a conversation with the Smodron while Vinny plays a slow jam outside.
No, I'm listening. I'm just jamming, you know.
Careless Whisper, maybe?
No.
No? Okay.
No, get out of there. Not that.
Okay, cool. Cool. So let's cut over to Drop.
All right.
The Zavala passed over Mykonos, went to the outskirts where it wouldn't be seen descending from the cloud line, and got as close to the ground as it could before Lita says to you, I guess this is your stop.
How do I contact you when and if it all goes off well?
That's a good question. We're going to go put the moss heart back in the forest. Also, we make routine drops at the portal in the Tiger Mountains, so you could also run into us there. Those are the two places we're going to be.
I'm not sure I'm welcome back there. Things got a little messy the last time we were in the neighborhood.
Well, then it might be up to you to use whatever you find. If we're all working towards the same goal, then it shouldn't matter who does it.
Okay, that's pretty vague, but I guess I'll see what I can do.
I mean, do you have any questions? She's saying that there's probably something in the repository in the temple which can stop what's going on. And so if you figure it out, you don't need them.
Yeah, but come on, it's never that easy.
Nope, you walk in and there's a button, you push it, the campaign ends.
And I'm just like, I'm gonna look at everybody on the ship like, come on, we know this, right? Like,
if it was easy, we would have done it by now. Everyone's doing their best.
Okay, so get to the temple, find the thing, mostly on my own.
Yeah, you're gonna have to freestyle jazz it from there. I told you the two places that you might run into us, but besides that...
Okay, so that was regular drops at the Tiger Mountains and the forest.
Yeah, they're going back because we got to stop. I don't know if this was clear. The Glitter Gold gets stuff out of that portal to make their ships. So if we're trying to keep all the stuff out of this plane, we can't let them get any more. We use the Moss Heart to guard it while we take all the stuff we find. We throw it in the other hole.
Right. Okay. You don't have any other portals anywhere else? Just in case I can't make it to those two.
She takes her clawed gauntlet and taps on her helmet in the eye region.
Oh. Okay. All right, I see. One of those can't really talk about it things. So there probably are other portals around then. That. Okay. All right. Go to the temple, get the artifact, freestyle jazz.
Hell yeah. Satchmo, baby.
Thanks for all your help. Hopefully, I'll be alive the next time you see me. How high up is the airship from the ground, Austin?
At level 4, monks get something called slow fall.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably gonna need that.
Okay. All right then. Are they like tossing a rope down, or is it just sort of like good luck?
I mean, I'm not gonna kill Drop. It's just for flavor. You're gonna jump a little higher than would be safe for anyone else.
Yeah.
But since you literally just in character got a thing that lets you survive this.
Yeah, just to be, cinematic. Give it a little bit of personality.
Paint me a picture of the first time Drop perfects the slow fall technique. I like to think there's a montage of Shay trying to teach it to him, and just like, no, wrong, do it again. No, wrong, do it again. He keeps jumping off the monastery and rolling his ankle, landing in manure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or, like accidentally landing on carts and then like launching things in the air that like squish other people.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like constantly just not being able to get it. And so he walks to the edge of the airship, kind of like, is it day or night at this point in time?
Let's say dawn.
Yeah. All right. So, as the sunlight kind of comes pouring over the outskirts of Mykonos, and the city is quiet and not everybody has kind of like, gotten up and done their things yet. He takes one look down, just sort of like leans over the edge, takes a couple of steps back, and says, I've seen this done before. Here goes. Takes a couple of confident steps, stops right on the edge, and is just like, am I really going to do this? Well, what's the worst that can happen? And then just kind of like pitches forward like a caber falling. You guys know what a caber is?
No.
It's something that the Scots like to toss. It's a big log, basically.
It's a big old piece of good wood.
Yeah, exactly. And he just pitches over the side of the ship, arms kind of like held close to him.
Acrobatics check.
22.
Dang.
Superhero landing.
superhero landing.
Yep.
All right. For a brief moment, Drop is really proud of himself that he actually managed to do that successfully for the first time ever. And then he's sort of like, oh, but nobody was around to see it.
And there's a quick cut to Shay sitting in a smoky cave, just like, I think I just sensed something fucking sweet.
All right. So I'm going to, presumably I have a rough idea of where this Temple of Primus is,
Yep.
according to my position.
Yep, it's in the exact center of the city, as befitting a monument to balance.
All right. Then I'm going to start making my way there as under the radar as I possibly can manage.
So 2 checks to deal with this. One is perception, just to see if you notice anything going through. And
Okay.
2 is investigation, if you want to case the place or if you just want to stroll in.
Okay, so perception is a 17. And yeah, I do want to check the outskirts. I'm interested to know if there's any, say, like, underground way in, if there are catacombs or something like that, or anything that looks like it might be an easier way in than just walking through the door. And that'll be investigation, which is not my strongest suit. Yeah, that's not my strongest suit at all. So perception of 17, investigation of 1.
That's not great. So as you walk through the streets of Mykonos, you definitely notice in this early morning, there's a lot more activity than you think would be, just for people going to work. There's a lot of people just wandering around with like hopeless looks in their eyes. There's people just drinking full bottles of liquor in broad daylight. There's people weeping openly. Somebody runs up and grabs you and just goes, "You got any cheese?" And then just runs off again without waiting for an answer. The city is waking up, and it's a bit of a nightmare. So for your 17 for perception, you notice that, and also that maybe you're being followed.
Oh, yeah?
You don't know you're wanted, obviously, and you don't really look anything like your drawing, both because I think the drawing of you has a sword and you have a quarterstaff, like most prominently, and also they just didn't get a super good look at you because you kind of kept a low profile. But you think you might be being followed. Your investigation is so low, not really worth dignifying. I could make up something bad, but I think the being followed is the more interesting choice here.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Then I guess I'm going to try and pop some stealth, see if I can... If I have the feeling that I'm being followed, I'm going to try and lose him.
All right? Stealth me.
25.
Jesus Christ.
You're like, I can't investigate worth shit, but try to find me, ho! You just clamber up the side of a building, leap off into a hay bale, and you're invisible. Video game jokes.
Yeah, video game jokes. I hope I climbed like a good 12 stories up.
Yeah, you got that slow fall now. Why not?
Yeah, why not, man?
So for flavor, you're in a haystack, like peering out, and after a while, it takes a minute or so because whoever was following you wasn't being super obvious about it. You do see somebody pass by, looking around as if they had lost you.
Yeah.
And it looks like the way I would characterize this character is a particularly angry dwarf.
A particularly angry dwarf.
Those are the words I would choose.
Now, can I identify the character as being a dwarf specifically?
It is of the race dwarf, and it is of the anger particularly.
I just, you were being a little vague there, so I didn't want to...
No. This is the most specific I could be.
Okay.
Drop has only seen one dwarf in his life. They're not native to Lorelei.
Okay, all right. So this dwarf is looking pretty pissed then.
He looks mad. He looks, I would say, particularly angry.
How does he still remember?
I think I remember this guy. I seem to recall a dwarf very early on in the campaign who got a couple of really positive hand signals.
Oh shit. Right.
Your monk robes are distinctive, and you are also carrying a bagpipe. So,
yeah. I'm pretty identifiable, I suppose, if you know what I look like.
It is preposterous that we have run into this person again, but I'm very happy that this happened.
There's only one major city in Lorelei. So.
Ooh, so the question is what to do about this.
Yeah, we're gonna cut away from Drop as he cowers inside of a haystack.
I'm not cowering.
As he hides coolly.
I am
He is the needle in the haystack.
Collectedly concealed.
Yeah, you're good. Lavinia finishes up her generic, non-copyrighted song
Yes.
and can now understand languages. Violet and Alias are standing wherever they want to in relation to this newly freed Modron.
I'm just going to be continuing to find things that appear to be either broken or kind of off on the Modron and proceeding to make the repairs look more serviceable than the multiple hack jobs that this thing has received.
Yeah.
Hey there, little dude.
I am not a dude. My gender is law, and my orientation is order.
Can we keep him?
I am not a him.
Can we keep Law?
Violet says, "What are your pronouns?"
Justice.
Oh my god, he's so
Okay.
cute.
All right,
uh,
I'm done now.
so, Swift, why were you in this cell in the first place? At least as a mist, doing repairs and Joe being helpful and pointing out problem areas.
Heinous criminals imprisoned me in direct violation of Statute 4734.
Oh, of course, 4734.
That is one of my favorite statutes.
Oh, could you read it to me?
No person shall unduly interfere with a law enforcement official in the line of duty.
Are you a law enforcement official?
I am Security Unit Designation Swift Justice.
But you're so small.
How big is Swift Justice?
Only slightly bigger than the spherical guys you've done so far. They're all,
So small.
yeah, so like waist height maybe.
He's a little dude.
How long have you been working here, Swift?
I was reassigned from the Temple of Primus 10 years ago.
So you were here while Detective Carter was working around here.
Correct.
Do you know what happened to Detective Carter, Swift?
Detective Carter was felled in the line of duty.
By the...
Criminals!
Right.
Do you want to come to the temple with us?
Unit Swift Justice is no longer authorized to access the Temple of Primus.
Oh, but I like you and you're small.
This unit accepts your compliments.
Oh.
Swift, I think the more pressing matter is that there's nobody here in the station.
Correct. All employment contracts were terminated upon non-payment.
So I'm not sure what your duty is here, given, well, lack of resources and possible ability to enforce the law.
My duty is to ensure justice.
Oh, Violet speaks up. Wait a minute. I'm a police officer. That means you have to do what I say. That's like literally true. And Violet is kind of like looking around the room, still dazed, but she is aware of who she is.
What? When did you become a police officer, Violet?
In Unicornucopia, that's what I did. I like protected the law of the forest.
Identify yourself by badge number.
Sure. 50214.
Searching data banks.
Beep, beep.
Confirmed.
What?
Yeah,
Hello, Deputy Lee.
that's me. I'm Lee.
Hello, Deputy Lee.
Come with me. You're a mascot now. You're coming with us on our quest.
You have a case?
Yes, right on top of me. I insist upon it. And then Violet sort of like bends down.
I guess Swift clambers up onto Violet's back? I had no idea this was going to happen.
We're taking this robot with us. I'm sorry.
Is this like the shitpost version of an episode?
I'm sorry, but this is definitely going to happen. Like, I don't care what we're about to do, but we're bringing the robot with us.
Swift climbs up onto Violet's back and is sitting the wrong way and says, "Please take me to evidence locker to retrieve my implements of justice."
Ooh,
Sure.
implements of justice.
Violet does so. She's like, okay, here are the lockers.
You clip-clop into the evidence room, and Swift uses its finger, which like does a cool little Transformers move as a key, and unlocks
So cool.
one of the security lockers. And inside,
Mhm.
there is a very strange object, which it attaches to the chain that is attached to it.
Mhm.
I remind everybody it was like hoisted by its own chain, which is like hooked onto it, kind of like a wallet chain almost. And the end that isn't hooked into it is like unused now, and it hooks into this thing, which kind of looks like a sword, but instead of having like a sharp blade, it has like a weird flat blade with a bunch of teeth around it.
Nice.
What's that?
This is Justice.
What does it do?
Swift flicks a switch on the side, and it begins screaming at you.
Oh my god.
You don't really have any frame of reference. The teeth suddenly blur until you can't really see them, and it just makes this horrible noise.
Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off!
He has a tiny chainsaw. You can turn it off for now, but we might need it later.
Swift turns off its tiny chainsaw, which is definitely what this thing is.
Yeah, but we might need it later, so hold on to it. Okay, Alias, Lee, am asking you, what are we doing next? But we're definitely bringing the robot.
There are 3 open cases for extrajudicial process.
What are the cases?
Case 1, the apprehension of pirates known as the Blackhearts.
Ooh.
Case 2, apprehension of the pirates led by LaFonda and her accomplice, Violet.
I don't know any violets. All I know is Miss Lavender Lee over here.
Yeah, whatever.
What are the other accomplices for LaFonda?
Unknown elf, unknown human, and unknown bullywug.
Right.
Wow, that's a crazy gang.
Huh.
Yeah, well, we don't need that one, but what you said there were 3. We had those were 2. What is the third one?
Apprehension of serial killer in connection with rash of murders over previous months. Case number 036.
Tell me more about that one.
I mean, everything it could tell you is the stuff on the board in the other room, but
Yeah,
okay.
it elaborates and says that reward is 10,000 gold pieces, payable by
Oh,
Isaac Rosemary.
Who's Isaac Rosemary?
I think it's pretty common knowledge in Lorelei that the Rosemary family is the one that controls Glittergold. President Rosemary is the president of Glittergold.
Oh.
Isaac is his son.
well, we can't fuck with them. I'm not saying this out loud. I'm saying I don't know if we can. I don't know if it would be possible to retrieve a reward from the people who are trying to kill us.
Inquire at Rosemary Manor.
Oh, we should go to Rosemary Manor.
Elias, what do you think we should do? You're the smart one.
I think we could possibly do something involving the Rosemary, as it were.
If you say so.
Let's go solve crime!
To the mystery machine.
What are your best leads in that case, aside from what has already been established in the detective's room?
Searching databanks. Lauren, do you want to make that beep noise again?
I was thinking, does he sound more like,
Beep.
like the computer dial tone? Like,
Yeah. I'm not going to edit that in, but yeah. It says, 1, new evidence found. Poison on blade identified as wyvern.
oh,
Wyvern.
that's a scaly boy.
That is a scaly boy. That's the only evidence that you didn't see on the board out there. Quick recap, 1 murder every day without fail. Murder, single blow from a knife, coated with poison, but the death was always caused by the stab, and all the victims appear to be either financially or politically powerful.
Right. Was there ever established that they actually found a murder weapon, or did they just infer that there was a stab by something that was like a dagger, or it's just a stab wound and poison?
No weapon retrieved thus far.
Which means that the weapon could simply be natural on the creature itself.
That's interesting. Oh, well, yes, you'd be such a good detective. Let's do it.
Are you anybody want to roll nature on wyverns, or?
Yeah, I will do that.
I'll try. Oh, crit!
Nice crit!
Violet knows everything about wyverns.
Yeah, they're an evil creature,
Oh.
chaotic evil by nature, so Violet knows them as something to watch out for and kill on sight, because she is a good forest cop.
Okay. What do they look like?
They are very easily confused with dragons. They look very much like dragons. The differences are they're much smaller. They don't have front legs. So they have like bottom legs, which with they stand, and then wings.
Okay.
True dragons have 4 regular limbs and then wings.
Okay.
And the other main feature of wyverns is they have a scorpion-like poisonous stinger. And perhaps most importantly, they are not native to Lorelei.
Okay. Violet relays this information to the rest of the group.
Oh man, that's real weird.
Yep, sure is. Are we killing a wyvern?
What's going on with this angry dwarf?
You are in this hay, and if you do not act, he will eventually get frustrated and leave.
I think I can wait it out.
You do so, and when the coast is clear with your mad stealth check, you have no problem just totally leaving him behind as if he had never been following you to begin with.
All right.
And with your 1 investigation check, you look at the Temple of Primus and you say, that right there, that's a temple. It's a big old cross, 4 entrances, north, south, east, west.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole shebang. Not many people are coming in and out. It's also the temple district, so there's a temple to Garl Glittergold. There's a temple to Grumpsh, which is noticeably smaller than the really ostentatious Glittergold church.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple very small churches to Alona. Nothing to Lolth, though.
Of course.
There are drow in the city, but they have the good sense not to try to push that agenda.
Right, of course.
And you actually don't see any drow about now that the sun has risen, so they have anyone that were on the street are gone now.
Right. Temple of Primus, can I see any Modron? Are there is it just kind of like, yep, that's a building?
Yep, just a building. You don't see any Modron outside, and you really don't see much traffic in or out. Like every once in a while, someone comes in, and then you get the sense that they look at the paintings and then they leave 10 minutes later, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's as much a museum as it is a place of worship.
Hmm.
It's like a cheap date spot.
Refresh my memory. What's Alona the god of?
The forest and unicorns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember that now.
Can I roll a religion check to see if I might be able to recognize a temple around that might be able to answer questions about my head? And about any voices I might be hearing?
Religion check?
16.
Ooh, that's a very good check. You definitely don't want anything resembling Grumpsh. That's very bad.
No.
Alona, honestly, probably not your dude.
Mm-hmm.
Garl Glittergold is a lawful good deity, so that would probably be very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
There's also some smaller sized buildings to Corellin and Sayanine, which are the elf gods. They're good, but they have a similar kind of vibe to Alona, which is like they really care about forests,
right,
which might not be helping for your head.
Yeah.
Of the temples in front of you, it's going to be either Garl Glittergold's house or the Temple of Primus, which is a law thing. So if you're broken, they'll want to fix you.
Right.
They're just not good or evil.
Right.
They do not care about morality. All they care about is fixing.
Don't go there.
Well, I have to go to the Temple of Primus eventually.
Well, yeah. I mean, don't ask them about your head.
Well, there might not be anything wrong with it. I'm not sure I want to go to Glittergold either, though, because that sounds like just asking for trouble.
That place is poppin'. There's people in, it's standing room only.
Yeah.
Even from the 2 blocks away, you hear "How great is our God? How great!"
Okay, I'm gonna bite my lip and just head for the Temple of Primus then.
All right. I love Glittergold. It's why I picked them, is because they are so cinnamon roll pure and perfect in all of the lore as written. Mm-hmm. But they're also they're the best people ever whose symbol is gold. And it's totally unexamined, their whole thing. But anyway, so you walk over to the Temple of Primus, totally unnoticed, unaccosted. Mm-hmm. Which entrance do you want to use? If you recall, there's kind of the 4 wings for the 4 main species.
Yeah, there was what was it? There was drow, there was gnome, there was
Kenku and orc. You assume the orc was as a consolation for their military contributions to society, because you don't see any for goblins, gnolls, Kuatoa, or any of the quote unquote brutish races.
All right, well, I speak Orcish well. I'm from the Tiger Mountains. I guess I'll take the orc entrance.
So as you push open the doors and step inside the Temple of Primus, you hear a voice state something in a voice that Drop has never heard but the audience has. It's a robotic voice, and it says,
Welcome to the Temple of Primus Dropgoodwood. We have been waiting for you.
I set my sail, fly the wind, it will take me back to my home, sweet home. Lie on my back, clouds are making way for me. I'm coming home, sweet home. I see your star, you left it burning for me. Mother, I'm here. I'd like to thank Overclocked Remix for our theme songs, which include Tears and Rain, an arrangement of Seattle from Deus Ex Invisible War, Dream Meter Mix, an arrangement of Lavender Town's theme from Pokemon, and Acapella, an arrangement of Setting Sail Coming Home from Bastion. Executive producers for Dice Funk for the month of October 2016 are Joseph Timbrello, Extellaris, King Waza, Jade, Kirsten Haslinger, The Cult of Gorfanax, Tarka, Allison Ansell, Luke Powers, Michael Goodell, Wayne Witzke, Brent, Irving Royale, Athos, Radley, Ingmar Gremin, David Page, The Black Fedora, Miran Bhatti, Melanie Joe, Lana Seawolf, Toby Gleason Stack, Ruby Offer, Matthew Weber, Emmanuel Garcia, Paul Mullen, Sarah Handley, Zenith Will Rule, Melissa Booker, Cameron Abbas, Ariel Badger-Release, Dylan, Gary Sayan, Exley, Anna Stuhlfarer, Dashon the Rage Monster, Giorgio Renna, Harrison Andrew, Christopher Charlo, Jorit, Viger Arnston, Cody Jackson, August Rue, and Taylor Hoyt. If you want to support the show directly, you can find me at patreon.com/AustinYorsky, and you can find Leon at patreon.com/RenegadeCut. You can also help us spread the word about the show by finding us on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, YouTube, or anywhere else and subscribing, commenting, rating, or reviewing us. We also have a fan forum at thefunkyshack.boards.net. Thanks for spending time with us, and have a spooky October.